Well, now, I forgot to explain on why my videos are completely darked out. It's because with my ideas, people would find me a bit radical. And in truth, I am. I am a total radical. In fact, most of my ideas, well, most people probably wouldn't agree with, but it's because the people don't think. And that's not your fault, people. It is, in fact, those who run the government. Now you're thinking, oh, well, he's just another lunatic. But you all know that I'm right. And here's how I'll explain it. Now, I am in a class of political science, sort of, and it explains all these ways on how the government is supposedly working. When in times we all know how it really works. And it works by the politicians being bought out by major corporations and helping out big companies and conglomerates that they have vested interest in. And we all know this to be true. You cannot deny this. Now, people have a short attention span to this. We think that just by going on with our daily lives, hopefully it'll get better. But we are allowing the people that are screwing us over to continue this running our government. If anything, I mean, everybody would say this, but honestly, I would know exactly how to fix this government. Now, at some point, I will show my identity, but for now, I won't. But you see, in all honesty, it wouldn't be too hard to take this government down. But, I mean, before I get into that, just look. I went driving today, and gas was $3.16 at where I normally get it. It was pathetic. It does not need to cost that much. I mean, look, politicians, people who are probably paid to say these things, that will use big words and big fancy charts to try and make it all complicated, when in fact it is easy to understand. Now, at this point, I haven't done exactly extensive backgrounding, but, you know, people are going to probably use that against me already, and, you know, they are. But what you need to understand is that we all know exactly what's going on. If I was able to go and try and take a political office seat, I would be attacked by both sides, both Democrats and Republicans. And you know, that's probably the only thing that they would agree on. If someone would take power away from both of them at the same time, that is the only time that they would join hands and fight together. Whereas now, they fight amongst each other and against each other. It's pathetic. Our government is no longer our government. Our politicians do not fight for the people. The last president that we had that fought for the people was Franklin Delano Roosevelt. One of the last great politicians we had. Kennedy and Clinton, of course now I'm going to be prosecuted for saying Clinton, were very good presidents. They both helped the country in very good ways. They have at least redeemed themselves. Whereas all the rest should have been shot for treason. I know I somewhat dragged this on, but please bear with me. Now, to the point where taking this government down, it really wouldn't be that difficult. Because all you need is a handful of people. Now, I do mean a somewhat large handful of people. I'm not saying an entire army to throw a military-type coup. You need people that would be stationed to take out the guards, or FBI agents, or CIA, that would be guarding high-end political areas, such as the Congress, the House, or whatever, and also the White House. You would need to scope out every last area that you can. Then you need people to guard the sewers, because you know there's an escape route somewhere underground. That is, if you're taking over the country while the president is at, or in the country, which I do not recommend, you must plan that outside of the country. Now, all simultaneously, you give an order to whoever follows you to eliminate any guards or people that would stand in your way of taking over the Senate and the House and the White House. And you would need some sort of way to get in past the White House gates. Now, that wouldn't be too hard to do, since you can find companies that build bulletproof and even resistant to RPG vehicles. So, you spend a little money on that. Next, once you've killed the guards, you then rush to the buildings that you're trying to acquire. And you make sure to take everyone hostage. Now, don't go and start killing off the citizens. You do not need collateral damage. That is not something you want. That just makes you look like a tyrant. Now, considering our congressmen and senators are lazy ass pieces of shit, though excuse me for my language, there are many that have not actually attended most meetings at the Capitol. So, for those that would be walking the city or at their homes in some other state, it would be roughly easy enough to take them hostage as well. And yet again, as little collateral damage as possible, so no shooting random citizens. Try not to kill police officers, and those kind of people. They're just doing their duty. But, you know, I'll get into the FBI and CIA in another web session. And once you have all them, now, getting the politicians, or the cabinet members, better to say, along with the president and vice president, it would be easier to take them if they are in another country. Mainly, you know, if you take them in, you know, Afghanistan or Iraq right now, you wouldn't have much of a fight against it. I mean, true, there would be plenty of soldiers there, but you have the president hostage. It would be easy to get what you want. Now, true, you might have to take out a few of those nations' guards. I'm not going to deny that. But in order to capture them, it needs to be done. And there you basically have the entire political string in your hand. You just need to be quick, precise, and accurate. The only problem is, even the smallest little fuck-up could destroy everything. And then you would be the ones committed of treason and sentenced to a firing squad. honestly, that's not much of a deterrent. Because for some years, I've been somewhat not liking the idea of being a citizen of this country. Now, taking other installations, such as military bases, um, oh, Lord, taking Fort Knox, hell no. That's just something that would have to surrender to you. I mean, if I remember correctly from what I've seen on the History Channel, it's got, like, what, 3 infantry battalions, 2 tank battalions, its own air squadron, satellite missiles, rocket emplacements, turrets, and then there's the guards inside. It's like, that's just something that's just going to have to surrender to you. But, I mean, since most of our soldiers are overseas, it's actually like taking candy from a baby. I mean, just enlist the help of the National Rifle Association. There's plenty of people there that would agree with you. I mean, hopefully they would. I mean, this country's just got to be reformed. I mean, if you ask me, it needs to be somewhat of, well, what I've been told so far and what the French have now true. I'm part French, a small amount. But honestly, the French, they're not fighters, they're supporters. But in the French government, they have the top people in the fields making governmental decisions, and it has worked out fantastic for them. I mean, I'm not 100% sure on how it works, but, I mean, like, the top people in, like, physicians, architecture, stuff like that. That's who runs the government. That's somewhat of what we need, but we need more of I don't want to say iron, I guess more of a granite fist type government. Now, granite's not as hard as iron or steel, but it's just soft enough to understand the people, but just hard enough to do what needs to be done. And what needs to be done, no one will agree with. I mean, everybody's just so short-sighted. I mean, alright, look. For one, gay marriage. Alright, I don't care to see it in public, but yet, you know what? This is going to be something I'm going to hold for another session, which I'll have to do tomorrow, because I'm getting tired. So, talk to you later.